Hey, what up, guys? So obviously this is my first YouTube video. Did you like that intro? And I'm stoked to have a YouTube channel. So I'm set, I'm ready to go, and I've decided to make my first video about easily the most ratchet night of my life. Alright, so my story is about Panama City Beach this past spring break, but it's not like most party stories you're gonna hear. It begins with me at home over spring break, and I'm bored. All my friends are out of town. I just really felt like I was missing out. Like, it was just a shitty feeling. And one of my friends, actually, I guess she felt the same way. She calls me a few days into break, and she's like, "Hey, Jordan, will you go to Panama or PCB with me?" I'm like, "What's PCB?" She's like, "Panama City Beach." I'm like, "Oh, maybe." And it's not that I was like pessimistic. I just wasn't really believing that anything would come out of her calling me. I thought it'd be one of those times that, you know, just whenever you see like a friend and they're just like, "Hey, we should go bowling together later," and you're just like, "Yeah, we should." And at the end of the conversation, you both just know that that's never going to happen. So after a while of talking on the phone, Haley finally convinces me that we are going on this trip. Haley comes over and we call my boys Kevin and Kyle. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, like Kevin and Kyle, you guys are probably like picturing these kids just based off their names. I would picture the whitest kids. I don't know, like Kevin's kind of a white name, Kyle's kind of a white name, but when you put them together, that is very white. So we get our group together that Sunday night, and then we end up leaving Tuesday night. We decide to call up our friends from PCB because obviously we're not going to be able to get a hotel room. To explain the situation, I'm tied with everybody in the room except one girl. She punched me in the face one night, so we're not cool to say the least. My friends had a place to stay, and I didn't. Now looking back on this, I'm really questioning like our group's decision-making skills because I did not have a room, and we just got up and left. We're on to PCB around like 11 a.m. The first thing we do is go check out the beach. And about an hour later, I go up and I meet up with my friend Nikki. So Haley, Kevin, and Kyle wanted to go meet up with some friends, and I decided to stay with Nikki. And Nikki introduced me to this group of people a few years older than me from Arkansas. So around 5, me and the Arkansas group and Nikki, we start throwing back shots like it's Thursday. Throwback Thursday. If you have never been to PCB, just imagine like a shoreline just lined with hotels for like miles. I started walking down, just checking out what other hotels there are, what else there is to do. I find this random ass group I don't know where they were from, but they were from somewhere down south. So I decided to get in the hot tub with these people, and they're hilarious, and everybody's just going around telling their crazy stories. But something about their southern accents, I don't know what it was, but it just made the story like 10 times better. I decided to wrap up the night and head back to Nikki's hotel. And you know that really good feeling you get at the end of an amazing night? Just thinking back of how fun and perfect your night was. That's like the best way I can describe to you like how I felt on that walk back. Until I realized that I have no fucking room to stay in. I literally went from that excited drunk guy who's on cloud 9, as happy as can be, to Will Smith and The Pursuit of Happiness in about 0.3 seconds. So obviously I began just flipping shit. I don't know where I'm going to stay tonight. And on top of everything, I got my shirt, socks, shoes, and shorts soaking wet from the hot tub. And even though it was Florida, it was still chilly out with that like slight breeze. And with wet clothing on, that is just the worst. So I'm not wearing any clothes at this point. I'm just wearing shorts. So what's my next move? Maybe call my friends? Nope. I decided to go door to fucking door, shirtless and intoxicating, asking random people desperately if I could stay with them. If this isn't rock bottom, I don't know what is. So the first hotel door I knock on were these 2 black girls about my age. I explained the entire story to them and situation about how I'm basically homeless. The first girl that answered, she was so sweet. She was basically fine with me staying there. She didn't care. But I could see that she did not wear the pants in this friendship, so I turned to her friend and I tried to like prove my innocence to her because I could tell that she didn't really want me to stay there. So I just kind of look at her and give her one of these. I'm like, she was not having it still, even with my charming smile. She never directly said anything, but just I could read her facial expression. She's probably like a random drunk dude shows up at my door, doesn't even have his shit together enough to get a room, and he wants to sleep over here. This is probably not the most trustworthy guy. I had to respect her decision. The first girl, she was such a sweetheart, and she's so nice. But she's like, "Hey, hold on." Goes back to her dresser, comes back, brings me a dry t-shirt. And this wasn't like a regular t-shirt. It was one of those shirts that, I don't know if your parents did this, but at least in my family, my parents would always give me these huge XXL shirts, and they're super comfortable, and I would always sleep in them. I couldn't have been more thankful for that t-shirt. I mean, I showed that girl so much gratitude. She probably tweeted after that, like, guys that are thankful, the greater than signs. The next store I go to is this guy, probably a few years older than me. I explained to him my story just like I did to the girls, and he's pretty sympathetic, but I could tell he didn't want me like staying with him. So he tried to help me out. He tried to give me like $15. I turned it down. And after a few more failed attempts of me just trying to get my slumber party on, I'm walking down this hall, and this is like an outdoor hotel, and my paranoid drunk ass hears something. So my next move looked a little bit like this. I didn't even take the time to look behind me at what the noise was. I just kind of reacted. I can't honestly say I know what happened after this point. I woke up because I was crying in my sleep because it was so cold outside. My feet are propped up on another chair just like this. I'm wearing nothing except that big ass XXL t-shirt. I've never been more thankful in my life for the cold, because the cold actually shriveled up my dick like just enough so like my shirt was covering it fully. I'm so thankful that I didn't pass out, just like, and I happened to wake up right when the sun was rising, so like I could see the like sun right over the beautiful horizon. As beautiful as that sunset may have been, it was so temporary because I was quickly reminded by the pool guy.
Hey, Sonny, you should probably go back to your room about now.
I was so tempted just to be like, funny story, pool cleaning guy. I actually drove this far to Panama City Beach and I don't have a room. So your pool might be a bit of a mess to clean up, but I can guarantee to you that I am more of a mess right now. I look around and I'm right next to the Arkansas group's room. So I go over and I decide to knock on their door. And wouldn't you know it, I slept on a raft in the Arkansas group's room for the remaining time at PCB. And that wraps up the most ratchet night of my life. And now you guys know the most embarrassing story about me. I don't know how I found the courage to share this with everyone. Thank you to everyone watching all the way through. And please subscribe. Actually, every subscription equals one Viagra pill that I will donate to an old man with boner problems. Because that old man could be me or you one day.